If you somehow didn't hear the rumble of the hype train, this is pretty much the Airsoft equivalent of the Nissan GT-R. The long-awaited, much anticipated, often debated Krytac Kriss Vector AEG. Now this is the first batch of Canadian spec versions, so yes, we're fashionably late to the party, but hey, no orange tips. Released back in 2006, the Vector of the lead-spitting variety made huge waves in the firearms industry. The key feature was the Super V recoil mitigation system, but it's the aesthetics that really got people excited. It had a space-age design and lines that just worked. Now, KWA released a nice gas blowback version of this rifle, but if you're looking for a reliable gaming machine, AEG might be the way to go. What's going on? Vincent here, bringing you another Toronto Airsoft video from La Terre du Nord. Pardon my French. Naturally, there's a lot of in-depth breakdowns for this gun. I'm trying to focus on the so-called soft features, the ergonomics, the build quality. I'm not trying to repeat the product page. I'm sorry if I don't mention what millimeter bushings are in the mech box. 8mm. The allure with this gun is that it's made by the same company as the real firearm. Krytac, the simulation division of Kriss USA, have shown us and proven that they're very good at making airsoft guns with their LVOA and their Trident lines. In terms of living up to its hype, let's hope this is a case of Halo 3 and not No Man's Sky. Gamers, you know what I mean. This gun, like the real one, is mostly polymer with all-metal hardware. We all know that quality of polymer can vary wildly, so I'm happy to report not only a really nice finish on that body, but no creaking noises whatsoever. Being an officially licensed product, you get official Kriss trademarks everywhere on this gun. As far as dressing it up, you get the standard upper rail along with the lower and one included side rail panel. Here's how I dress it up. LCO red dot, PK6 grip, and SOCOM style suppressor. Packaging is typical Krytac fare, which is to say, really good. Instruction manual is 22 pages long in just one language. It's surprisingly comprehensive. For the Canadian spec model, we get an extended inner barrel, a licensed metal suppressor to hide it, and a stiffer spring inside. For a limited time, Krytac is including two 95-round mid caps to get you started. Taking a look at the mags, they're really similar in size to UMP mags, except they actually fit into pistol mag pouches. Now, it might look a little funny, but that sharpened top makes inserting into the gun really easy. I like that when you follow through with the motion of inserting the mag, your hand actually rests right on top of that mag catch again. Weighing in at 2.6 kilograms versus 2.7 of the actual Vector, and with exact 1-to-1 scale dimensions, you're holding a very accurate replica. By way of reference, the real M4 weighs 2.9 kilograms empty. In the hands, the first thing I notice is the balance is a little different than an M4. Center of mass is moved forward and is much lower slung. Pivoting the gun vertically feels a lot harder than it should for such a light rifle, but pivoting along its bore axis is effortless. Everything feels put together really well, and the shake test results are very good. Selector switch is ambi and is separate from the safety switch. The selector notches into place with satisfaction, but the safety is a little mushy. That's because it's actually a functioning decocker. It relieves spring tension. It's a cool idea in theory, but a couple of cycles in semi really does the same thing. The stock folds and locks when you don't need it, and the length can be adjusted with an Allen key. There's barely any play, and it really locks into place with authority. I like how when I pivot the gun up to shoot, the irons line up really nicely with my eyes. AR shooters are used to hunching their shoulders and leaning into the sights to account for the lower rise. The difference is almost odd at first for those who have developed the muscle memory, but unless you have a neck like Shrek, it's a lot more comfortable. Continuing with the ergonomics, the pistol grip is right about the same size and angle as an M4. That controversial mag well grip is actually quite comfortable and isn't as bunched up as it would be on an AR. Since the bore is almost on the same axis as the trigger, your trigger finger actually rests on the straight edge of the body, and dare I say it, is really intuitive to point. Just point at the target. Charging handle reveals the hop-up, but you could flip it open just as easily. Underneath is Krytac's famous rotary hop-up system with handy numbered clicks. Internally, we're looking at an all-custom mech box with vertically oriented cylinder as well as motor to fit into that tight space. Notable features include quick change spring, micro switch trigger, and MOSFET unit with 2-round burst. Battery compartment is in the pistol grip, and I could only fit in a 7.4 LiPo. I hope there's 11.1s that will fit, but ours were too long. Let's take a closer look at that trigger. Uptake is surprisingly stiff at about 2 millimeters. Brake is very light, and you feel the tiniest feedback as the micro switch depresses. It's right at the end of travel, so no over travel. Unlike their LVOA, there is no positive reset, and as soon as the switch is let go, you can go for that second shot. Unfortunately, the MOSFET does not automatically do a full cycle for every press, so it is possible to get that dreaded half pull. Ultimately, it makes the trigger feel worse than it actually is. Here it is with an 11.1 LiPo. Our Canadian spec models do have a stiffer spring, so swap out the spring and it should be less pronounced. If you're curious about rate of fire, 7.4 volt, 1300 milliamps got me 13.1 rounds per second, and 11.1 1100 milliamp hours got me 17.5 rounds per second. Bear in mind that this is shooting 420 feet per second. Shooting performance is really impressive. Of course, I need to get out to a longer range, but the gun handling characteristics are spot on. I can really tell that they finely tuned the ergonomics. You know how there's so-called driver's cars? Cars that are just really fun to drive? This is a shooter's gun. It's just a joy to flick around. I just hope they address that trigger. I really wanted to see consistency, so I did a little paper target test. I rested the gun as best I could and punched 10 shots. Using .25 Krytacs with a hop-up set to 4, you can see a very small deviation. I didn't zero the sights, but now I know a couple clicks to the left and it would be spot on. And there you have it, the Krytac Kriss Vector AEG. Now, I'm not one to buy into hype, and I'm not gonna say that this gun is good just because it looks cool, but I am gonna say this gun is good because in the hands, it just feels right. The price tag is steep, and there's no denying that you can get a better performing gun for less. But one day, I said it here first, I'm gonna buy one. As always, thanks for watching, subscribe for more content, and I'll catch you next time.